Hey, we're talking about Crisis on Infinite Earths. Up next on Geek Out SA. And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun. We're talking about Crisis.
Yay.
The Arrowverse. So,
Hey, can y'all see us okay? Because we may or may not have forgotten to turn on the studio lights. And it looks like somebody kicked my camera.
oh yeah, Alexa, turn on the studio lights.
That's
we go.
probably better.
It's probably a little bit better.
So before we get started, we got a few more subscribers today. We're at 923. Our big, huge goal is to get to 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 before January 1st. It's a goal that we set for ourselves. We would really like to meet it. We've been trying to advertise, but not pay any money. So, we're trying to pick up some subscribers. Should we pick up 1,000 subscribers before January 1st? Vincent has put this lightsaber together. It has sound. It has light and sound. Okay, it is an Ultra Saber hilt.
Yeah.
So it's not a joke. It's not a toy. Well, it is a toy.
What is a toy?
It's a toy that's not a toy. It's a pretty awesome toy. It has the Ultra Saber hilt and the plastic thingy is Ultra Saber, so it's pretty durable. Like, you can thwart someone with it. So we would like to give it away on a video when we get to 1,000. So please tell your friends, please share, please subscribe. Everybody's dropping out of YouTube because of all the COPA stuff and because of all the rules. So there should be plenty of room for us. So just come and subscribe to us.
Yeah,
and it would be
subscribe to us.
Totally awesome. And now we're going to spoil Crisis on Infinite Earths for you. Yes.
So the first thing is, what did you think of Crisis?
So far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not loving Batwoman.
Yeah, no, I'm not feeling Batwoman at all.
Still not feeling Batwoman at all. Ruby Rose is not doing it for me. I also have never really liked, I think his name is Tyler something, the Teen Wolf kid who's Superman in Supergirl.
Tyler Hoechlin or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't like him as Superman. I don't like him. I don't believe him. I don't care for him as Superman. It's just a thing. So for them to bring back Tom Welling, just...
Yeah.
Smallville is, has a special place.
So on one of the Earths, Tom Welling is there, but he's Clark Kent, but he's no longer Superman.
No, yeah, he's given up his powers.
Yeah.
To have a family. And again, he's on an alternate Earth, but he was there in a cameo, and it just made my day.
Yeah, because we used to watch that all the time.
Smallville was one of my all-time favorite Superman shows.
Mm-hmm.
For me, best written, best actors in it. Again, for me, it's do I love the characters as portrayed by these actors, right?
I think that show really set off what a superhero show should be.
Yeah.
Even though it was a superhero show where he is coming into Superman, because he's not really a Superman at that point.
But you get to see that humanity side of him, right? And you get to know him and get to learn about him. So I like that. Which is why I really like Gotham with Baby Bruce. I know a lot of people hated that, but I really liked that. Seeing this kid kind of come into his own and get a little darker and get a little stronger and find a little more confidence. I like those types of shows if they're well written.
Right.
So I really enjoyed seeing Tom Welling, and what is really great is Brandon Roth. Is that
Brandon Roth? Yes.
So Brandon Roth is Adam.
He's Adam in Legends.
In Legends of Tomorrow.
He started on Arrow,
mm-hmm.
and then he moved to Legends.
So, but he has also been a Superman.
Yeah.
So what was great
for Superman Returns?
What was great to see was they let him play both parts in this.
Mm-hmm.
So he is Superman and he's Adam.
But he's the Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah.
In the comic books.
Yes.
So he has like the different
The black S, yeah.
Black S, yeah.
The graying hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the green hair.
Yes.
It's really good.
Really good. Really good. And he played both parts really well.
And then you got to see like two Supermen like there, like in the same place. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing, because I talk to my students about this because I have several who watch it. The biggest thing that shocked them, and I'm sorry, we are going to spoil this. So if you haven't seen it and you want to, and you haven't read the comics and you want to not know what we're telling, like we're going to tell you what's going on in the show. So spoiler, 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 you've been warned. Okay.
Yeah.
So what my kids were not aware of or weren't expecting so quickly, I think. I don't think they were expecting it at all. You and I weren't expecting it so quickly, was Oliver dying.
Yes.
So I was not expecting him to die so soon. We knew that his show was over. So we've already been told.
Killed him in the first show.
We've already been told that his show is over. So we kind of know, and he's been talking to the Monitor, and so we kind of know his whole season has been leading up to him kind of dying, right? And he's passing the torch on to his kids who are now grown-ups.
See,
from
but the
future.
Monitor is going off, and he's not telling the entire truth about everything.
Right, right.
And if he knows everything, why isn't he? Because he can't tell them because they wouldn't react the way that they would.
Yeah, so I've been trying to catch up on the comics because I didn't read the comics originally. But you can find a lot of the comics online, which maybe you're probably not supposed to, but they're really old issues. So you can find a lot of them online. So I'm trying to catch up on them and read them. And I haven't gotten to the parts where you see, what's the Monitor's, what's his end game, like what is he playing at?
And Adventure Vic says, I should have been a guest on this show, on this episode. LOL.
Oh, well, yeah, and be a guest,
come
dude.
and be a guest, man.
But I did see, oh, man, I'm sorry, my brain is not working. Harrison Wells, he becomes Pariah. Okay, so in the comics, I did see Pariah, and he is like torn apart because he keeps having to witness all of these worlds like being destroyed. So, and I love that this actor who's Harrison Wells on The Flash is Harrison Wells, and he's this Harrison Wells, and he's this Harrison Wells with another, and so he has all of these different personalities. And to see him, like, you kind of fell in love with him when he had some of these quirkier personalities, but to see him to come back to this Pariah, who he is torn apart because he's kind of responsible. He's one of the catalysts for some of what's happening.
He was really cool before we went, and you can feel it, like, in his face. You can see it in his face, and you can just feel it come across from the screen that he seems like really like lost and torn apart from this.
Which I think is another thing that makes Batwoman hard for me, that makes Ruby Rose's Batwoman hard for me, is because I'm invested in all these other characters, because I like them in their own standalone shows.
Just one tone. That's it.
Yeah, I feel all this emotion from everybody else, and from her, I'm like, nobody cares. What's really cool, though, if you're watching, if you're staying up with it, is they go to see Batman, but he's the Batman of the future.
Right.
So he's broken. He's in the mechanical exoskeleton, right? And he's very jaded. On his Earth, he has killed Superman, right? So he's all kinds of horrible, and he played that really well. Yeah. But the actor who did that is actually the voice actor who voiced Batman on
the Batman the Animated Series.
Thank you. Batman the Animated
Series.
And
he also does the voice for the video games as well.
Yeah. So he kind of used that voice on the show, but kind of some of his own voice too. It wasn't exactly like from the animated series.
Yeah.
Because we heard him after, which is something I could rant on for half an hour, this like Talking Dead style crap that they're doing with all the shows where somebody's got to talk about it and analyze it after the show. Don't get me started. But at least it's got Kevin Smith. But still, I hate it. But he was on that after the show thing, and he talked to Kevin for a while.
Close your eyes.
Yes.
And then
because Kevin asked him to do it.
Him, because you can look at him and you don't necessarily like, well, that's not Batman.
Right. Because he's kind of this skinny old dude.
Yeah, but you also saw him on there, and you were like, it kind of sounds like him, but it didn't look like he should be Batman.
Yeah, and
or even an old Batman.
And I don't think he did the whole voice. But then when he was doing the thing with Kevin Smith, and Kevin was like, "Come on, dude, like do it for us." I mean, you could close your eyes, and it was like animated Batman was right there. It was like the coolest, like freakiest thing ever. And I was like, man, I wish he would have gone like full throttle with that voice in the episode. I think that would have. I think he played it well. I don't think that he didn't play it well. He was very dark, angry.
And I think because Batwoman gets the kryptonite from him. Because he punches Supergirl he had some kryptonite in his fist, and they're trying to make her like Batman. She's not like Batman, and she's just one tone. She's one tone as Kate, and she's the same
tone as Batwoman. Yeah.
She just speaks a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Just like.
I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan.
So what?
So what? So what? Love. Have always loved John Constantine. So it was really great to have him in there and to see him going and trying to get Oliver. So of course, if you've been watching the Arrow, you know from the Arrowverse that they have the Lazarus pits that bring people back to life, and they brought a lot of people back to life. So of course that's the first thing Vincent and I are thinking, right? Like, okay, it's Oliver. Obviously they're going to put him in the Lazarus pit and try to bring him back to life.
Right.
So lo and behold, because Barry can't stand it because he's so sensitive, he has to take Oliver and try to get him back, right?
But in the meantime, all these worlds are being destroyed. All these Earths from this dimension to this dimension to all... They're dying. They're all dying, and there's like, at that point, there's one Earth with one Lazarus pit left.
So they go, get Oliver back, and of course his soul's not there, so he's a maniac. So bring in John Constantine, which is awesome. But then Constantine doesn't have his powers because of everything that's going on. So guess who they get to go visit, which I was not expecting. Were you expecting Earth 666?
No. So we've come to find out that Lucifer, the show Lucifer, is in the Arrowverse. So he was on Earth 666.
Right.
So that kind of puts like a new spin on it, because I think somewhere they were saying this is post whatchamacallit was post-crisis.
Oh, really? Okay.
What's his name? Lucifer is post-crisis.
Yeah, his show.
Yeah.
But his show got canceled on network television.
But it's on Netflix now.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I liked that show too.
That was a really
good show. So I was really surprised to see him. I was not expecting him.
That was really cool to see, and he is part of the DC universe. So it was good to see that come in. It would be cool to see maybe Swamp Thing. We saw a lot of, like, I think it started off with seeing the reporter.
The dude that was the reporter.
In Batman, the original Batman
with
movie.
The Michael Keaton movie.
So they brought that into it.
Yep. And then they have the gentleman who was Robin with Adam West.
Yeah, so they brought that Earth into it.
That he was there. I'm trying to remember who else they had. There was cameos,
but they did the Earths on like when those things came out.
Right.
Like Batman was Earth 89, and the Burt Ward, he was in Earth 60 something. I wasn't alive then, so I didn't. I watched it after the fact.
Yeah, but I like how. I think that they've done a really good job, like, tying all these universes together and letting us see little snippets So I'm in this show, so I'm seeing this little snippet. I'm in this show, and I'm seeing this little snippet. I'm in this show.
The cool thing that they did with the Flash is they brought in the original actor of the original Flash show, John Wesley Shipp, as the dad, as Barry's dad,
as Barry's dad, and as the Flash on alternate Earths.
As like two different Flashes on two different Earths.
Yeah. So he's had a lot of play in the Flash show, which is great because those of us that grew up, we saw him as the Flash originally, so it was great to see. So all this time they've been hyping it, all this season they've been hyping it, Barry's gonna die, everything's leading to Barry dying, right? The Flash has to die, the Monitor said the Flash has to die. So Vincent and I kind of called it ahead of time. We were like, what do you want to bet? Right? What do you want to bet? Barry's not going to die because we know Barry's series is still going on, right? Yeah. We knew that Oliver's series is going to end, but we know that Barry's series is going to continue. So we were like, how is that going to play out? So we were like high-fiving each other when it happened. But kind of sad too.
But kind of sad. But the cool thing about that is when the original Flash show ended, it didn't end with like an ending. They just pulled it, so he didn't get to end. So John Wesley Shipp didn't get to end it. So this was the one where he died and he got to end it for himself, for the actor John Wesley Shipp, and he was really happy about that.
Yeah. Well, and he gets to make that ultimate hero sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm old, I've been the Flash for a long time.
And it was so cool. You learn a lot of tricks, and he steals the speed force from him. Mm-hmm. You learn a lot of tricks over 30 years.
Steals the speed force and then goes full on. And I'm not gonna lie, like I teared up. I was like, "This is real good." Well, I knew it was coming, but it was good.
Shot everything. And they actually put in a scene from the original Flash with him talking to Iris of that show.
Right.
And they put it in after the fact because it wasn't going to go in. They put it on the editing room.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
It was a good touch.
They added it, and it was just like, made you drop. It was like, wow.
Yeah, really. It breaks. It
really
kind of like, gets in the tears and makes you like really sad. So it was really good. And then we get to see Black Lightning come in.
Yes.
But
we actually saw the episode where he got pulled right before because Black Lightning was kind of part of everything that was happening, but they didn't really. We understood that was happening because of the red skies.
Right.
But that Earth was going to go away, but he got pulled right before it went away.
And so he gets pulled and his whole family is destroyed. So he's got to come to terms with that and get on board. Immediately. Yeah. So they did a really good job with that kind of struggle and turmoil too, where it's like the other actors are trying to settle him down and pull him in. And he's got all this
fighting them.
Yeah. And he's got all this anguish and they're like, look, dude, we're all heroes. Like we've felt this anguish. And if you don't do something, we're never going to fix this. So
and at that point, he didn't really care because he was told, well, your family's dead. Right. They're gone.
Right.
You need to help with the rest of everything and make sure existence isn't...
isn't totally shattered.
Yeah. So he's going through it and he's using all of his power to try to maintain... or try to destroy the thing.
To try to destroy the antimatter,
antimatter projector. And... he's there and he's like, he doesn't care. He's gonna
give it. He's just gonna let himself die too. Yeah. He's like, forget it. My family's dead. I'm just gonna go, full force and just do what I have to do. The other thing that Vincent and I were kind of yelling about, we're kind of excited about, because we love Cisco Ramon. Totally love Cisco Ramon. He's one of our absolute favorite characters.
And we really liked him when he was Vibe.
And so here comes the Monitor, and Cisco's like, oh, heck no, I'm not going to be Vibe. And the Monitor's like, you are.
Yeah, this is happening.
And he keeps telling everybody has a part to play. Everybody has a part to play.
Everybody has his part to play, even like Lex Luthor does.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and Ducky is like an awesome Lex Luthor. I hate him so much, which you're supposed to.
From Supergirl, he's a really good Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And I never thought John Cryer could pull that off.
No, because he's a little odd looking for me. Like, it took me some time to get used to him as Lex. It didn't quite work for me at first.
The majority of what he does is comedy.
Yeah.
I couldn't. He does have some zingers in there, like in Supergirl and in Crisis, but he's really bad.
He has some really good zingers in Crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, he is such a jerk.
But the thing about Lex Luthor, he's very arrogant.
He's super arrogant, and he believes in his arrogance. Like, he's like, I'm the end all be all of the universe, and I'm not sure why none of y'all understand that yet. Like,
yeah, Lex. But the thing about Lex is he thinks he's saving humanity. That's his thing, but he has an arrogance about it that that's why people.
And he's still very self-serving, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'm saving humanity, but if I have to step on all their backs to serve myself, I'll totally do that, right? So, so he actually, so Brandon Roth is Superman, right? We've already said this, and he's Adam. But as Superman, he's one of the paragons. So there's these paragons of like truth and love and hope and humanity. There's 7 of them. I can't remember all the names. And so you think that Superman is the paragon of truth. Truth and justice and Superman, right?
And the American way.
The American way. And so all the paragons get taken into this, it's like a place between time and space or whatever, so that they can figure stuff out because everybody else is pretty dead. And it's kind of like a Thanos thing, only it's 100%, not 50%.
Yeah.
And so they're there, and then Brandon Roth is like, oh, like he's dying, he's like disintegrating, and you're like, what the heck is going on? I did not see this coming.
I did not see
this coming at all. So he's like totally dying, right? And he's like, oh, it hurts. And you're like, oh God,
and they're all surrounding him. And I was like, how is this gonna help?
Please help him. Like, do something for Superman. Good Lord. Like, you're kind of freaking out. And then he goes away. He like dissolves away, and Lex is in his place. And Lex is like, guess who's actually the paragon of truth? Me. Because I tell the truth, I don't like none of y'all. No.
The reason he did that, he used the Book of Destiny to change that. And unfortunately, maybe that was something that
had
to happen.
Yeah. Well, so they keep alluding to the Book of Destiny. So they only had, like, 3 episodes? Kind of 4 if you count because they had Arrow, Batwoman, Black Lightning and the Flash. So kind of 4, but they really only counted them as 3 because they didn't count the Black Lightning as an episode per se. So.
Because he really wasn't in Crisis.
Because he wasn't in Crisis at that point. They're just kind of showing his character leading up to what gets him into Crisis. So they didn't really count it.
But I really enjoyed how I think they should have, like, maybe put more emphasis that was going to happen. It was definitely an Easter egg for Crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't something that I was expecting.
Because they talked about it, and they talked about parallel universes.
So we've only seen 3 of the 5 episode series.
There's 2 left, and they're coming back January 14th.
Right. So now we've got to wait all this time and speculate.
They're going to be back to back.
Yeah. So now we've got to speculate. So we're thinking, because they keep talking about this book of Destiny that Lex used to take Superman's place, and Kara's been thinking about using it. Sorry, I got hiccup all of a sudden. Kara's been thinking about using it because it is very powerful.
Yeah.
And it can, we're thinking in some way, like reverse time or do something to that effect. Not sure. And I'm guessing at some point we're going to see Lex in his armor again.
they've alluded to that.
Right? They've
Yeah.
kind of alluded to that. And I really liked Lex in his armor in the animated, The Death of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Was a really good, I loved that animated movie. And they have Lex in his armor in that as well. And so he kind of believes himself to be his own type of superhero, basically.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. And then they have to fight these things from the Anti-Monitor, which to me they look like Dementors from Harry Potter. And I was like,
a little bit, yeah.
So they're fighting the Dementors. Like, what is going on? So apparently they're going to have a big battle with those characters. So I'm guessing it's going to be Lex in his armor. It'll be Kara. It's going to be Batwoman. She's in there.
Kate.
It's going to be, what's her face from Legends? Sarah. It'll be Barry.
And Barry.
And then this human.
Mm-hmm.
This human with no powers.
Yeah.
Who's the paragon of humanity. So my curiosity to myself, because we've never met him. So he's not been a character ever before. He's just introduced for this series, so it's not like we know anything about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it was Diggle or somebody like that, right?
Yeah.
That we would have known, or like one of Oliver's kids.
But I think they brought in stuff. Well, they brought in stuff from Titans in one of the episodes, like starting off. I think they show somebody and they're a huntress or something like that. They have. Of course, they're Batman, the original movie. Brandon Routh from Superman Returns.
Tom Welling
from Smallville. And apparently, there's going to be still more cameos.
More cameos to come.
That are coming in these last 2 episodes.
You know who they tried to get?
Who's that?
Because I can read Wikipedia. They tried to get Nicolas Cage.
I was going to suggest that. I didn't even read that, but I was like, I wonder if they're going to try to get Nicolas Cage because he was actually going to play Superman in Death of Superman that never got created.
I realized that, but ew. Like, ew. No. Ew. He was okay as Ghost Rider, I guess, but ew, no, not really. He was terrible. Okay, he was really awful. I'm sorry, he was terrible. It was really horrible. I really wanted that movie to be good, and he was awful. I don't think that. I mean, Nicolas Cage has some pretty decent movies. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Con Air and I love The Rock, but he's just not good in comic movies.
I don't think you can make, because it was Tim Burton that was gonna do that movie. I don't think
Death of Superman.
Tim Burton could do.
Well, then if it was Tim Burton,
movie.
Why wasn't Johnny Depp going to be Superman? That's what I want to know. Well, I hear they were supposed to get Keaton to be in The Crisis. I don't know if he said yes or not, but that was one of the ones that I had heard that they were.
Well, but now his Earth is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take Christian Bale. I thought he was a good Batman.
Yeah.
I'll take him any day.
Yeah.
Don't
and
give
are
me...
they gonna? They said they might possibly do the DC movie universe.
Yeah.
So that would be cool to see if they brought something.
Well, Gal Gadot, I would take that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have a Wonder Woman.
No.
Not as a series. It'd be a good series. I'd watch that. Ooh, unless they bring back oh God, my dad's girlfriend. What's her name? Linda Carter.
Yeah. But she's been on Supergirl.
Oh yes, yes, she has been. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the president.
Yeah. I would totally watch a Wonder Woman series, especially with Gal Gadot. But I mean, just I think in general, if they could write it as well as they've written some of this other stuff. So is Legends of Tomorrow coming back?
Yes.
Because they haven't shown it this season.
No, because they always come on the break.
Oh, okay.
So they're on the 14th. It's going to start with Legends.
Legends is so like campy. You can't help but love it.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to not love it, but it's so campy. Like, I can't help but love it. And I love the actors and the way they are. Oh, I love Rory. He's ridiculous.
Oh, and the on that wave rider that they had on that Earth, it was Snart.
Yes.
Leonard Snart.
Leonard Snart
was the voice of the wave rider.
Yeah.
On the computer on the wave rider,
Yeah.
so that was kind of cool.
That was cool. It was interesting when I read the comics, when I started reading the Crisis on Infinite Earth comics. The comics begin in a world where actually Superman is called Ultraman and the Flash is called Johnny Quick, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all the heroes that you're used to, but they're villains.
Yeah.
And Lex, in his armor, is the hero. And Lex is married to Lois. And they have a baby, and they send their baby out to the parallel universes. So we see that in the first episode
where Lois and Clark,
Lois and Clark.
they send their baby to Earth 1.
Right.
And there was only one ship.
Mm-hmm. Only one ship, of course, because that's all they have. The Kryptonians only ever have one ship. I don't know why they only make one ship. You'd think they'd learn to stop making only one ship, but they only make one ship. Yeah. And every time they put some kind of baby in it.
It's a plot device.
I know it is. But like when you see it, you're like...
But the cool thing about that scene, when they're doing it, the words that were spoken by
Jor-El?
Yeah, by Clark and Lois were the same that were spoken by Jor-El and his wife in the original Superman movie.
In the original movie, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's really good Easter egg stuff in there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, I think especially because we're older, you're like, really?
Yeah, but I appreciate it because it's a nod to it. I was like, that's great.
I know.
That's awesome.
I'm just like frustrated. It's a little frustrating. And I was surprised that Brainy doesn't have a bigger part. Oh, isn't Martian Manhunter one of the Paragons? He is, right? Yeah. Isn't he there at the end? I think so. I thought he was. There's 7. So there's Barry, Kara, Clark and Lex, the human guy, Sarah, Batwoman, and I think it's Martian Manhunter.
Oh.
I think so. Because there's 7 of them. So, yeah, I think so.
So theories on what's going to happen.
Ooh, it's hard to tell. So I'm assuming because it's a good comic book series, right? Something will happen and all the Earths get to come back, right?
So are they Paragons because... Here's what I think.
Okay.
Here's what I think. So to bring back that many Earths, it's going to drive somebody crazy. But it's going to drive one person crazy. But it never says that it's just one person that has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking if Martian Manhunter is there, he has the telepathy.
He has the psychic link.
The psychic link to be able to link to all of them and to be able to use them as a whole to be able to create and put everything back the way it was.
Mm-hmm. See, and I was thinking they were going to need some kind of technology, something. That's why maybe I don't know.
But once they do that, the Arrow comes back, but Arrow's still going to die.
Yeah, so he has to stay dead. Right?
But they brought him back to life.
Yeah, but they brought him back to life, but he has no soul. Like, they tried to go get his soul and they couldn't.
Because the Monitor said, what? But Spectre came and did something to him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't, like, all ravenous at the end.
Mm-hmm. But I still don't think he's going to, like, magically come back and save the day. It's going to be the combination of all, like they're going to have to overcome.
He's going to have to be able to do something because the monitor says, this isn't how I saw you die. So now he's alive again, so he's going to be able to do something to...
That'll then end up in his ultimate death.
In his ultimate death.
That sounds about right. That sounds about comic
like
book-ish.
maybe something they're not going to bring back Lazarus pits or something.
Maybe. But you always have to have something that'll bring people back. That's a comic book trope too. Nobody ever really dies. It's like in a good G.I. Joe cartoon. Nobody dies. You just shoot at people.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how it plays out. So it's going to be hard for them to, number one, suck it up and work with Lex. But that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have no choice, right? So that's going to be a whole conversation in and of itself. Kara's going to have a really hard time with it,
because
obviously.
If you look at it, Lex doesn't want this either.
Right,
he doesn't
right.
want there to be nothing there because...
what good does that do him?
Yeah.
Yeah, because who is going to bow down to him and say he's so wonderful and all-powerful and,
Well,
you're so awesome, right? So, yeah, I mean, I feel like he has a vested interest in returning the Earths. It's not a great reason, but it's his reason.
Fulgore says Arrow is the new Spectre.
Oh, Arrow's
he exists outside the multiverse now.
Okay.
And Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine says, good evening. How's it going, Chef Johnny?
So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what the last 2 episodes bring us.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what it could be?
Well, I know they're going to have to come together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously. The thing that's throwing me off is the Paragon of Humanity. I'm wondering where that fits in, right? They're going to have to battle all the Dementors. So that's going to be a thing.
They're gonna have to keep the Paragon of
Stuart's
Humanity.
listening, he's like, this moron.
They're gonna have to keep the Paragon of Humanity alive. They're gonna have to protect him.
And I feel like they're leading us to believe that Kara's gonna have a big, because you're hope and you're hope. They keep saying that over again. You're the hope. You're the hope. So maybe the Dementors do bring despair. So when the Dementors are trying to suck their souls out and bring the despair, then Kara's
not the same thing.
Oh, it's not the same thing. I'm sorry, I got confused. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I've liked it so far. If you haven't watched it, we pretty much retold it to you, but it's worth watching.
I want to watch it again. I want to see it over and over again.
That solves it right there.
That solves it right there.
Oh.
It's not Shazam.
It's not Shazam? Are you sure?
I mean, Flash is...
Harry's going to come in and Voldemort them all.
Flash is the one to kind of like... He's going to be the one to be able to pull everybody together. Because he's the new big show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It's no longer an Arrowverse, it's a Flashverse.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. So I guess you'll have to tune in back in January with us and see what our thoughts 14th,
are. Check it out.
We'll have to watch it and digest it a little bit. Also, everybody on the whole universe who's a geek should know by now that Star Wars, the end-all be-all of Star Wars, is going to be coming out next weekend.
Yeah.
I am going to be weeping because, unlike Stuart, I loved the new movies. I loved the characters. I loved the actors. I loved how it's a nod to the original. I love everything about it. And you can make grumpy faces at me all you want, and don't write mean things about Optimus Prime. But we will not be going on the 20th because I have agoraphobia and I'm afraid of people and leaving my house. No. I don't really like people. They freak me out. So we're going to go early morning on the 21st.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be like talking about it, ruining it, or doing anything like that. Now Stuart's Baby Yoda. So we'll probably be talking about something Christmassy next week, and then we may take a week off because we usually rest for a little bit, but we're really striving to get to that 1,000 subscribers.
So yes, tell everybody that you can to subscribe. We're almost there, and we're going to be giving this away.
And if not, I get it for Christmas.
Yeah.
true story.
Yeah.
And not that we don't love Stuart. We have things for him for Christmas, but we want to give the lightsaber to one of you.
Yeah, make it happen. But
Maybe you
thanks
could
for
come over
checking
and
this
hit Vince
out.
with the lightsaber.
But thanks for checking this out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen. Thanks a lot, Stuart.
Geek
We
out,
gotta
I say.
say.